Repurposing your content is your secret weapon. Let me ask you a question. Do you ever feel like you're constantly chasing content? Like every day you just have to wake up and invent something new just to keep up? I mean, I know that is the way it feels. So if it sounds familiar, I want to let you in on a rather big secret, actually. You don't need any more ideas. You just need to get more mileage from the ideas that you already have. This is phase 3 of our 22 episode series, and I'm going to dive deep into building community and keeping them engaged in this episode through episode 13. And today we're going to talk about the queen of all content strategies, repurposing. You know, I always like to include a free PDF that you can download, and you'll find it in the description. And if you're new here, my name is Corey Dillon. I'm an award-winning radio broadcaster, occasional national TV host, and a career social media user. I've been learning social media best practices for over 20 years, and my goal is to help millennials and my Gen Xers stay engaged and relevant in the workplace. And by the end of this episode, you're going to know exactly how to take a single piece of content and turn it into 10, 20, even 50 pieces that you can repurpose for YouTube, Instagram, LinkedIn, and TikTok. So let's go. The myth of constant creation. Here's a myth that burns out so many new creators. It's the idea that success means that you have to keep pumping out completely original content every single day. I mean, I used to believe that too. I thought if I wasn't showing up with something brand new, I was falling behind. But here's the truth. The biggest, most successful creators, the people you follow with millions or hundreds of thousands of subscribers, are not reinventing the wheel. They're repackaging and repurposing what's working for them. Think about Gary Vee. I love Gary Vee. He doesn't create thousands of fresh, unique concepts every week. He records a podcast, and that one podcast gets cut into dozens of short clips with captions or even quotes. Same as Mel Robbins. She'll give one keynote speech or podcast, and her team chops it into hundreds of pieces of micro content. Repurposing isn't cheating. It's smart. People today are consuming dozens or hundreds of pieces of snack-sized content. It's a strategy that will keep you consistent, visible, and relevant without burning you out. Let's talk about how this works in real life. I call it the one-to-many method. So step 1, create a pillar piece of content, a foundation. This could be a YouTube video, a podcast episode, or maybe a live stream, even a blog post, something that's meaty or in-depth that captures your best ideas. Step 2, break it down into highlights and what I like to call headlines. Pull out the most valuable tips, the best quotes, the funniest moment, or maybe a follower question that you can follow up on. Step 3, adapt those highlights for each platform. On Instagram, maybe it's a reel. LinkedIn, a thought leadership post. TikTok, it's a 15-second clip. All right, you know I love an example, so let's go. Let's say you have a 10-minute YouTube video about 3 ways job seekers over 40 can stand out online, kind of what I'm doing here. That one video becomes 4 YouTube shorts, each focused on one tip that you can also share in your Instagram stories that link to the entire video. A LinkedIn post where you expand on tip number 1, maybe 3 Instagram reels where you show the behind the scenes content of recording your video. Make sure it's aesthetic. And then maybe 2 tweets or a thread where you can break the advice into bite-sized insights. That's 10 or more pieces of content from one video or your one original idea. You didn't have to reinvent anything. You just reframed it and repackaged it for different audiences. Now, if you're thinking, this sounds amazing, but it also sounds like a lot of extra work, let's hit pause. Repurposing is not doing more. It's about doing less, smarter. There are so many tools out there that make this ridiculously easy. Canva is a lifesaver for resizing graphics and keeping everything branded for each particular post. Descript is what I'm using right here, and it lets you take one long video, automatically transcribes it, and it'll cut it into shorter clips in minutes. It's a lifesaver, like I said. ChatGPT, I use it all the time, every day now. It's great for taking one paragraph of your script and rephrasing it into an appropriate LinkedIn post or maybe a tweet, and it's free. And a simple spreadsheet or a Google Doc keeps your content, your scripts, your calendars organized so that you can see where each piece will live and on what platform. No doubt you need to be organized, but imagine sitting down just once a week to create one solid piece of content. And with these tools, you can walk away with a full week's worth of posts ready to go. That's not just efficient, that's sustainable. And you can do this. So let's tackle the big question. Why does this work so well? Well, because audiences don't live on just one platform. Somebody who follows you on YouTube might never see your LinkedIn post. Who knows if you're connected? Someone scrolling TikTok may never open Instagram. Repurposing makes sure that your message is reaching people wherever they're hanging out. And your biggest fans, they don't mind. They're probably even going to help you spread your message. And here's another thing. People need repetition. Marketing studies show that your message needs to be seen about 7 times before it sticks. So repurposing your content creates that repetition without feeling repetitive because you're expressing, yes, the exact same idea, but in different formats curated for the platforms that you're posting on. And for my Gen Xers and fellow over 40 pros out here, this is your golden ticket. You already have decades of experience and insights and stories, and you are an expert in your field. So remember that. Repurposing your content and your ideas lets you leverage that without scrambling to keep up with every shiny new trend, okay? So we're gonna prove that you can do this. Here's your homework. This week, choose one piece of content that's already been created. Maybe it's a video you shot or a blog post or even a presentation that you gave at work. Then brainstorm at least 5 ways that you could repurpose it. Post one of them. You'll be amazed at how much further your ideas can travel. And remember, repurposing isn't cutting corners, it's amplifying your brilliance. Your experience and the content you're creating from your experience is valuable. People just need to see it, and you need to make sure that they're seeing it. So download today's free worksheet in this video description and then map out your repurposing plan. Hey, drop a comment because I want to know what your pillar content will be for the next week. I'd love to see what you're working on. And as always, subscribe so that you don't miss the next episode of Social Media Smart. Because in episode 11, we're going to help you build an engaged community online so that you can stop posting into an echo chamber. You can do this, and I love helping. So thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next episode.